Good morning, guys. I am driving into Wilmington to change out a bath fan of all things. This week's been a pretty light week overall. Kind of a nice change of pace after a long summer. I don't like my light times to last too long, but it's nice to have a few days. Heck, I stayed home yesterday. I even took my wife out to eat in a little town called Beulahville, which is about 30 minutes northeast of where we live, to the glorious Pizza Village for the buffet. So, you gotta take your lady out in style. That's what I was doing, the pizza buffet in Beulahville. It don't get any classier than that, gentlemen. So, after that romantic lunch, came home, picked up the kids, had a nice evening, took my daughter to dance class. But today is a new day and I'm working, but I want to talk to you guys. We talked about business on some of these vlogs that I've been doing. I do my episode videos early in the week and then come back with a vlog later in the week. But today I want to tell the story of a customer and just the sort of you can't win them all sort of thing. So I had this customer, it's a lady, and actually put the AC in her house, 3 train units for my father back in 2005. Now at that time it wasn't her house yet, but a few years later she bought the house. These train units were put into this house, which was right on the intercoastal waterway. They were crammed into these little nooks and crannies because this house was an old house that sat on the waterway, didn't have any locations for air handlers and condensers, and it couldn't be in the crawl space because of the floodplain. The air handler wouldn't fit above the flood elevation since it was right on the waterway. So the air handler is actually in a little nook off of the master closet, or a guest closet. The ductwork turns through the floor and it hugs the bottom of the crawl space above the floodplain. So we installed those systems, years go by. I replaced a TXV on one of them a few years later. And not really anything's gone wrong with these units. And then they have a guest house out front which had a Goodman York combination system. And it was there when we did the house, so it's been there for a long time. And it finally died, it lost most of its charge, and I was out there taking a look at it, and I said, well, we can replace it. It was probably the best thing to do for this particular system because it's been on the water this long time. The fins on the outside were falling apart. The Goodman evaporator was probably the culprit as far as the leak, and I never actually located the leak. I called the lady and asked her what she wanted me to do. No point finding a leak if they're going to switch out the system, that sort of thing. So she said they were probably going to switch out the system, but unfortunately my price was too high. Now keep in mind, I've been working for these people for years and years. I don't know how high my price was as far as compared to the other company, but it's a 2-ton system, I believe, either 1.5 or 2-ton system, and I was going to do it for just over $4,000, which was a good price for our area. A little bit higher. I've seen a lot of companies come in the 3,000s in our area for that sort of system, but I go the extra mile. I do the startup on it. I make sure the airflow is squared away, so I charge a little bit more. I figure I don't want to waste my time, not making much money on a job. You feel pressured to cut corners, to do things not as well as they should be done. So she got another company. I was like, well, it is what it is, and just move on. But she said she still wanted me to service the units at the house. One of them broke down a few months later. So she calls me up. I go out there and take a look at that unit, and it needed 6 pounds of R22. So I had to empty that lady's bank account. Joking. It was expensive. 6 pounds of R22, unclogging a drain, kind of sealing up some service valves, and you guys have seen them on the videos if you're watching the Pro Channel videos. I think it was episode 16 that they appeared on. So I fixed it up. It cost almost $800 to do that. A couple days I had to come back and do the repair on the other unit because I didn't have time the first day. So a couple days in and out, and 2-3 weeks later I'm looking for my money. She had to leave, or she was leaving to go to the airport to pick up her husband. So I finished up, and this lady had never had a problem paying the bill. I always paid her right on time. In fact, had she been there, she probably would have paid it right on the spot. But 3 weeks go by, and I'm trying to get up with them, and they finally called me back, and I was like, hey, well, I thought you fell off the earth. Which was better than me saying, hey, motherfucker, where's my money? Holding a baseball bat, going like this. because I had not yet gone into extreme measures, but it wasn't too long from happening. That does not mean I was going to track them down and bust their kneecaps. That is not what that means. So, she says she was going to pay the bill. She said, I quoted them preventive maintenance along with it for the 3 systems. Now, for a system preventive maintenance, I charge $175 and $150 for an additional system. So it would have cost them $475. Keeping in mind that that's 2 visits a year, you get a discount on any service calls, and I would have given them a discount on the call they did already. I told them, I said, I'll give you a discount on the previous call. They didn't want to do that. They said it was too expensive. They're going to pay for the original call and get the company that came out to change out the other system to do the preventive maintenance. But she said she would keep my number. I'm sure I'll be getting lots of phone calls. So what's the story? Should I lower my prices? That's a question someone might ask themselves. Do I need to lower my prices to compete with these guys? And that's not going to happen. I'm not going to lower my prices. She says to me, said, if you can do the service call and quote preventive maintenance and have it come in at $900, we can do it. I'm like, I can't. I'm not doing that. I mean, there's no point in doing it. You want a quality job, you have to pay for it. If you don't give people the money that the work requires, they're not going to do a good job for you. I mean, that would have meant I would be doing preventive maintenance on 3 systems, 3 Train XR12s for less than a couple $100. Keeping in mind that in the springtime, you have to disassemble all those panels, clean the units, reassemble them, check everything. And I sent them a little thing that tells what happened on the preventive maintenance. It was an easy decision to say no to that. Now, we all know the truth of the situation. The truth of the situation is the other company's going to come in, do their inspection or tune-up, probably not going to clean the coil, probably going to check 5 or 6 things and be there for half an hour, maybe half an hour for each unit, maybe, and then they're going to be gone. And the homeowner's going to have this warm feeling that she got the same service that she got as someone who takes apart the unit, does all that stuff. And it's part of the trade. It's part of the frustration that people face, because there's going to be guys out there that swing in there and they do a job for $3,000 less, and they're going to get these jobs. But you have to have faith and stay the course, because I found that a lot of these people will end up calling me later on. They'll come back and say, oh wait, this unit they put in, it just doesn't cool, or it seems like it runs all the time, or it froze up today, or something like that. And they'll call me back to take a look at it. It's like these American Home Shield people. They have American Home Shield that comes out to their house and fixes things at for free, a discount, whatever the rate is. I think they play a service call or something like that. But instead of calling them people and paying what, $75, whatever it is, they call me out and pay the few $100s it takes to repair something. It blows my mind that even though they do that, they keep that service. I just don't understand it. I don't know if it's just a peace of mind thing. I don't know if it's a husband and wife fighting over whether or not to keep a service. But it seems ridiculous to me. It's the same sort of thing. There's always going to be companies that come in there and do this shit work for a discount price. And you can't do anything about it. You can either join them or stay where you're at. Because if you lower your prices thinking you're going to do the same job that you did before, I mean, we're human. Once you realize that you're going to have to do a lot more calls, you're going to have to hurry through things, you're going to have to cut corners, or you're going to start thinking, hey, you know what? I'm not using the iConnect on this job. I'll use the Z-Manifold. These people don't even fucking pay. You're going to start doing stuff like that, and you know what? It's human nature to have to compromise to adapt to that situation. So charge what you're worth. That way you can take your time to do the job that you want to do. That's what I think. And I am wrong most of the time on everything.